Hello, Gemini friends. I'm Annie Botticelli, and welcome to my Gemini September 2023 Astrology Horoscope forecast. I'm calling the theme of this month Epic Crossroads, and it's actually this period of time because the things we're going to talk about for this month have their origins before this time and will extend beyond this time. This is for you if Gemini is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Gemini placement you're listening for. What we're going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. And if you're a very late degree Gemini friend, so birthdays like June 15th through the rest of the sign, or Gemini placement 23 degrees through the rest of the sign, I suggest you additionally listen to my Cancer report, as your very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. Okay, so we're in the month where I'm looking at the chart. If you're in the podcast version and you want to see the visuals, just head to Annie Botticelli YouTube, find my Gemini September 2023, and you can see what I'm talking about. If you don't like the charts, you can go to Annie Botticelli Astro Kisses and listen to the podcast version, or just scroll up on YouTube where you're listening but not looking. I will try to describe as clearly as I can without the visual to help you understand what I'm talking about if you're listening to the audio version. All right, so I'm just going to go in order here, and we're going to cover important dates and the highlights of what you're working with this month, both from a short-term perspective and a long-term perspective. The first thing I'm noticing is that we still have quite a bit of Leo energy. At this time, we don't always have a lot of strong Leo energy this late into the year, but because Venus has been in retrograde, it's been in Leo from June into, it will be there until October. And for Geminis, this is a really great thing because it makes that beautiful 60-degree angle of opportunities. Remember, it's important to note that opportunities are not necessarily manifestations. Sometimes the opportunities are obvious. Sometimes you have to be looking for them. That's why I like to point it out. This is the kind of angle where you have to do something with it. It's the ingredients on a counter angle, like I like to call it. So you have ingredients to make a yummy dish, but you actually have to do something with those potentials. So you've got a lot of that going on. And this has to do with the energies of Leo, which are creative efforts, whether you're creating a baby, so everything from the spark of romance to conception to childbearing and rearing is covered in this energy, or the same thing about a creative baby, that strike of insight about a creative project and carrying it through into its manifestation. So you've got a sustained amount of energy here. Not only is Venus there, but also star goddess Juno, which rules partnerships, which may mean that you might be partnering up with someone for some creative efforts, or someone may be helping you step into your leadership, or you may be helping others by stepping into that space. Star goddess Lilith is also here. Star goddess Lilith also gets a bad rap. People always think about her as, deep resentment and just kind of vengeance and things coming in from on those levels. And certainly there are those potentials there, but there are also really positive potentials that are not really talked about. And one of those is if you can kind of imagine her like this, bouncing, youthful energy that wants to change the world. And, just like that vigor of feeling like positive change can happen. Sometimes the anger at the state of things can be some impetus. But, it's very, very vibrant. And here in this fire energy, it's happening. So all of those potentials are burning bright for you. And all of this is manifesting through the third house, which is ruled by Gemini, which has to do with your communication, your unique expression, or like I like to call it, your magical heart song. So you've got a lot of divine feminine energy crowding together here, gender not related here, just, anything from your intuition and the deep wellspring of creative faculties can bubble up here, can turn into written communication, artistic communication, verbal communication, dance, anything like that. Any way you express your heart song. Very vibrant. Also, this can manifest in being just really busy. Gemini energy, which is manifesting through the third house of Gemini, as you know, you have an upward spiral pattern, okay, which means you're over here, now you're over here, now you're over here, now you're over here. But you are moving in an upward spiral. And this is very busy. It's very scattered. It's very dizzying. And so you'll see that. And you might be physically moving around a lot, like either through an actual move, of your house, or just driving around a lot, walking around a lot. So, it's going to be a very busy time. The next thing I see is we have a crowding of Virgo energies. So we'll take this piece by piece. Virgo, we've got the sun there bringing warmth. It's like a giant spotlight wherever the sun goes as it makes its way around all of the zodiac signs throughout the year. It's like a spotlight in a dark room. When you have a spotlight in a dark room, you can see the cracks, the paint peeling, the cobwebs. So, you'll have insights into things that need to be worked on. But you also get to see the beautiful color of the walls, or, how the light falls on the counter, or, just anything positive about a lot of light being in an area. So you've got that in general happening. And then you also have it through the lens of Virgo, which has to do with your daily work, your routine, your health, your wellness. So your schedule. And you've got not only the sun, but Mercury, which is going direct on September 15th. We'll talk about that more later. And star goddess Pallas Athena, all crowding in this Virgo energy. So this is bringing up topics about your daily routine. Does your schedule need a revamp? Is it time to shake things up with your daily routine? Do you have to remove or add daily practices? Is your health and wellness on track? Do you need practitioners to help you find your wellness? Do you need to be consistent with a practice? Is it time to start meditating or go back to meditating? Does your everyday work experience or your home environment need restructuring or organization? So these are the types of questions that will come up, or you can proactively ask yourself. And then the Virgo energy will give you some calmness and anchor, especially, in the vibrant fire energies, and then the air energies is manifesting through the idea of thought. This here with Virgo is very tangible. So it can help you to have the focus, have the discipline, have the wherewithal to construct a plan and follow through with it. This can also have to do with animals and pets. So, there could be questions or topics along those lines that are burning bright for you. Now, all of this for Gemini is highlighting the fourth house of home and family. So you might be getting super disciplined with something with your family. You might be getting super focused on things having to do with your house or housing. And this would be all a great time to do it. If you're wanting to move and you're wanting more clarity, maybe we'll just jump over here to look at some dates, and then we'll jump back. So as usual, I'm going to give you some dates here. If you're a person that likes the dates and you want more, and you want to know the best aspects and the challenging aspects and what you can expect from them, and have that all delivered to your inbox 1 month early, go to AnnieHelpsYou.com, join my free VIP community, sign up for my newsletter, and you'll get that and so much more. I'm also sending out astrology lessons now monthly, and all kinds of goodies to help you make the most of the transits. But we will go over some dates here, and you can go there to get more. September 3rd, Venus is going direct. It's been retrograde since July 22nd, 23rd, that period of time. And now it's going to take until October 7th to regulate. So between September 3rd and October 7th, Venus is getting her bearings straight. Probably brought up a lot of topics of love, beauty, money, design from the past, and let you rework with things for better or worse. Sometimes some topics come up and it interferes with the clarity, but as the month progresses, you'll become more clear along the lines of a lot of things that had gotten interrupted or blocked. And, in general, the Venus retrograde is hopefully really nice for Geminis because it is making that nice angle to your placement. So as Venus is circulating back and forth in its rhythm, it's just chock full of opportunities for you to rebrand yourself, redo your image, update your look, just kind of get a picture of where you're at and where you want to be. And sometimes it's hard to make big decisions during the Venus retrograde, but if you've been storing those up, you'll start to see clarity coming there. Mercury is going to be retrograde until the 15th. When Mercury is retrograde, it's hard to see more than one step ahead of yourself, and it's not really easy for long-term planning. It's more kind of dealing with the things around you, the appliances that are breaking down, the communication that it needs help, the things that were swept under the rug, that are flying in the air now because of the retrograde. It's better to try to avoid making too many plans during the retrograde time because they tend to be cast into uncertainty or canceled. So, if you have to make plans, you have to make them. Life is life. But the more you wait until the end of September to start to make plans, probably the more you'll not be calling people to reschedule things. So hopefully a word to the wise is sufficient there. September 15th through September 30th is when Mercury is getting its bearing straight. So by the end of the month, we'll have that nice crystal clear Mercury flow again. And you'll see a lot of things starting to wake up, and you'll be able to get clarity on them. Now, just like some sort of cosmic joke, while those things are blazing ahead, September 4th, Jupiter is going to go retrograde until December 31st. And Jupiter rules more of big vision things, you know. The Venus and Mercury, they're personal planets. They're closer to us. So it rules like a lot of things in our day-to-day experience. Jupiter rules, you know, the bigger vision, the bigger questions, the bigger plans, the standing on top of the mountain and looking at the whole storyline rather than being down in the trees, you know, working with the woodland creatures or whatever. So it's like, it's a very different energetic, but you might notice that you're starting to dial back some of your dreams, some of your ideas, and some of your ambitions. I notice that, and I'm ruled by Jupiter, so I really feel this because I'm a Sagittarius and Jupiter rules Sag. But people can tend to be less ambitious. They can be, you know, less concerned about the bigger picture. They can be more just in the moment of what's right in front of them, which, you know, is always a good spiritual practice to go back to that place. So what I'm pointing out here is that as certain things wake up and blaze forward, other things are going to dial back. And some things specific to Jupiter's movement, which for you has been in the 12th house, we'll talk about that in a second, and for everybody it's been in Taurus. There may have been some things that were blazing forward since May that now are starting to dial back. Things involving self-sufficiency, hard work, determination, you know, ecological or sustainability projects, attending to your finances, things like that. There may have been a big burst forward in those arenas. And now that may reverse. Or maybe it could be vice versa. Maybe if some things were stalled out, you'll see them click the other way. But the most important thing to know here is that if you try to chase the things that start going backwards and stalling out, you're going to get really frustrated. So the best guidance here is to notice the things that are waking up and put your full power behind those, and not try to mess with the things that were going strong and now we're like, hey, what happened to that? So this 12th house, Jupiter in the 12th house. So remember, Jupiter's transit is every 12 years. So you haven't had Jupiter in your 12th house since 12 years ago. And so we get this beautiful expansion. It's the planet of expansion in your 12th house, which rules your psychological space. It rules your intuition. It rules your connection to the unseen. It rules your connection to the all that is. And so, and your dream time and bridging your dream world to your waking world. So if you've been, you know, noticing some advancements there or something going on, it may be dialed back a little bit. And this is purposeful because just, you know, think about a big bubble. I don't know if you've ever been somewhere at a carnival or at a, you know, I don't know, some kind of gathering, and there's people have these gigantic bubble makers, and it's like, it's big, it's big, it's big. Okay, and then there it is. Either they succeed in making the big bubble or it pops because they're trying to make it bigger than it should be. Or eventually it's so big that it's going to pop anyway, right? All the bubbles tend to pop. So Jupiter is expansive. So you just kind of imagine this bubble filling up, filling up, filling up. And so things that were going on in your life that were expanding rapidly may have been expanding in an out of control way that's not sustainable. So these retrograde cycles really help us to evaluate and just take stock of the things that happened, and in some ways to rest on our laurels. Like, okay, you've accomplished some things, you've done some things. Now just chill out. Don't worry about it. You don't need to have, you know, constant expansion every second. It's normal and good to, you know, have a break where things might stall out a little bit so that you can check your direction, integrate what's happened, and so you'll see that happening. So as it does, just put your power behind the things that are happening and don't try to force anything. We'll go back to some of these other dates later, but I just wanted to touch in there because it's relevant to what I was talking about here. Okay, so the next thing has to do with these Libra energies. Mars, the border collie of the zodiac, as I like to call him, is moving through Libra, and wherever the border collie goes, obsessive focus goes. So obsessive focus goes to the sign of Libra, so partnerships, relationships, partnering with people, getting help from others, helping others. And that's for everybody. But specifically for Gemini, this is in your 5th house of Leo. So all those things we talked about right at the beginning, where the star goddesses, Lilith, Venus, and Juno, were crowding that energy of Leo. Now you've got Mars in the house of Leo, further accentuating your creative spirit, your desire to share and express yourself. And this is also the energy of true love and romance. This is the energy of, I call it a bucket list energy, because it's like not just your hobbies and the things you like to do, but like the things that you really want to do, you really, really want to do, like you've always really wanted to do. And so this could be a time where you're really hell-bent on accomplishing some of those things, and you actually do it. So you not only have Mars there, but you also have Ceres, star goddess Ceres, in Libra, accentuating your 5th house. And if you're not watching this, then I'll just describe what we're looking at here. The symbol for Ceres is actually a sickle. If you're not familiar with farming, I know for myself, I grew up in Queens and we didn't have any sickles there. So I had to learn about this over time, living in more rural areas. But a sickle is what they use to, that like hook thing that they use to harvest the grain. And so she is the goddess of the harvest. So there's some element of harvesting something now, like you've been thinking about something, you've been stewing on it, you've been making notes about it. And now is the time where you harvest that mind power, that creative power, and you turn it into something tangible. The Libra aspect of it may mean you need some support to do that, or that ultimately whatever you create is going to enhance your relationships with other people, and help you bond with them. Okay, so now those are softer, less intense energies. Now we're going to start getting into this topic of epic crossroads. Okay, so we've got multiple layers of epic crossroads, and I'm just going to take it piece by piece. So the first thing here is we see transiting South Node in Libra, and then look directly across, transiting North Node in Aries. Okay, so in a nutshell, the South Node energy relates to karma, good and bad, your hidden gifts, everything that you have within you. It can also be hindrances that you have to your North Node, which is your highest expression in this lifetime. The nodes are referring to the nodes of the moon. We call them planets because astrologers call everything planets, but they're not. They're points on the ecliptic. For the years that we're working an Aries-Libra eclipse cycle, we are working the Aries-Libra nodal profile. So you can see at any given time what the most active eclipse storyline is by looking at these nodes. And this is a me-we balance here. Aries is me, Libra is we, and so we're back in eclipse season is the point. Okay, now let's go to the dates here. We'll get back to the moon dates for September later, but for now I want to talk about the moon dates for October. And so I know some of you are going to say, why are you talking about the October moon dates in September? And I will give you a very clear answer. These are eclipses. October 14th, solar new moon eclipse, 21 degrees of Libra. October 28th, lunar full moon eclipse, 5 degrees of Taurus. The last Taurus Scorpio eclipse in that cycle since 2021. Major wrap up. Major wrap up. And we're talking about them now because eclipse season starts 4 to 6 weeks before the first eclipse and goes to 4 to 6 weeks after the last one. So that puts us in all of September being very active eclipse season, which means that eclipse changes, eclipse dramas, storylines, things bubbling back up from unconscious to conscious in this world of what's going on for us, our personal storylines with this, is going to be front and center this month and is going to put you at epic crossroads. And part of it is coming from the conclusion of the Scorpio-Taurus eclipse cycle. Something for 2 years that's been pending or going on may have a very rapid and non-negotiable ending, for better or worse. We'll talk more about these eclipses in October, but we have to talk about them enough in this month to let you know that you're going to be seeing changes. There will be intensity. Your life may change in a second, and you may be holding space for others around you who are going through it if you're not being hit directly. So I just want you to understand what's going on, because it's one of those months where people are going to be like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And then they come onto YouTube to try to figure it out. And part of what it is this. Okay, so this is the big answer. So back to Libra here, this transiting South Node energy is burning off karma in relationships. So you're at relationship crossroads. Some relationships are going to end. New ones are going to begin. So maybe all of your relationships will stay intact, but a chapter is ending. And in some ways, this could actually just be a major relief for you. This could be just stuff that you've been wanting for in your relationship space. But in some cases, it will be things that you don't want. And, they're also non-negotiable. So something is ending, but it opens the space for something beginning. At the eclipse time, I always like to explain it like there's never a time in our experience besides eclipse time that illustrates that law of the universe, that energy is not created nor destroyed. It simply changes form. So there are going to be things taken and then things put back in. Reshuffling around of energy in your me-we sector. And this also specifically for Gemini has to do with your talents versus the group. Your energy and contributions versus you being part of a team or a group. How a group can help support you and how you can feed the group. So those are the, basic storylines that are going on for you. Now, if you want to get really good details about the eclipses, go to my YouTube channel, Annie Botticelli. Just make sure that you click into my actual page, because if you search for it on YouTube, especially if you're on a device, YouTube is laying it out weirdly where, my channel will come up, but then a bunch of other people and things will come up. You have to actually click into my channel. And then once you're in there, you can go to the playlists, look for my eclipse playlist, and you can watch eclipses in Libra, or 7th house, it will say. And that will really help you understand the potentials. You can look for eclipses in Taurus, because that will help you understand that. And then eclipses in Pisces, or 12th house, because that's the house that October 28th eclipse will happen for Gemini. And then eclipses in Leo, or 5th house, because that's the house that the Libra eclipse will occur for you. Okay, so between those 4 videos, you'll get a very, very detailed picture of the energetic potentials at play with this, this wrapping up of one eclipse cycle and this second chapter of the Libra Aries eclipse cycle that started in April of this year. One more thing that we're going to talk about that's putting you at a crossroads is Saturn recently in Pisces, sitting on the cusp of your 10th house. Okay, I'm gonna erase all this now so I can show this to you. Crossroads occur in charts with many different types of things, but something I've seen consistently is that when they happen at the 1st, 7th, 10th, or 4th house cusp, an outer planet, hovering there, it's a crossroads time. So it's harder to see this on a Placidus chart. It would be easier to see this in a whole house or your individual chart, but I'll try to explain it the best I can. The line that cuts the chart in half from the top to bottom starts out on the left with your ascendant and goes to the descendant. So that's the 1st house cusp, yourself, your physical body, goes over to your 7th house, which is your relationships. The 4th house cusp is your home and family and your inner world and your housing. And then the 10th house cusp is your work, career, your place out in the world, whether you make money, doing stuff or not. And then the polarity is like a mother, father, parent, caretaker, either you as the caretaker or your experience having been taken care of or not. So whenever there's a planet there, so you guys have Saturn just really starting on the 10th house cusp recently, which is putting you at a crossroads with your home and work, your mother and father. There are changes happening. There are new things being built. There are things being harvested from the past. So, there you've got multiple, between the eclipses and this going on, there are multiple crossroads energies occurring for Gemini at this time. Okay, let's hit a couple more dates. September 14th, we've got the new moon in Virgo at 21 degrees. We talked about the Virgo energies. They're highlighting your home and family house, so some new beginnings there. We've got the full moon in Aries on September 29th at 6 degrees. That's highlighting your sector of friendships, acquaintances, networking, groups, teams, online things, technology, futuristic thinking, AI we can put in there. So something fullness, completion, fruition, possibly drama coming to those energies, or something being put out into the limelight. Maybe you're trying to launch something. Maybe you're trying to bring something out. Maybe you have an opportunity to be seen. This is a big deal. And this is in a great angle for Geminis. So all Geminis will get extra kisses from this full moon on the 29th of September. But those of you who are May-born Geminis, so the closer you are to 6 degrees, so that's basically going to be like the 25th, 26th, 27th of May, but really all the May-born. And then maybe right there at the beginning of June, you all will get the biggest kisses from this. But if you're not in that zone, don't worry, you still have the opportunities. If you have burning astrology questions and nobody to ask, that is the biggest difficulty for independent learners. Go and join my course, beastropro.com, beastropro.com. My Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Course is amazing for you if you want to earn money as an astrologer and do it professionally. Wow, it's really geared for that. But I have so many people take this course who just want to learn for themselves and to help their family and friends get their bearings straight in the universe, make the most of the starry opportunities, flow with the natural rhythms. But we've got a forum there where you can ask your burning questions. This way you don't have to have an impediment to your success. I think one of the things that set me up to be a successful astrologer is that I had someone to ask. My friend who looked at my chart and said, "Oh, guess what? You're going to be an astrologer." I'm like, "Nope, don't want to be." She was right. I turned out to be. But she was there to answer questions for me. When I had any small or big topic, I could bust through that, which could have kept me stymied for years. So if you want to progress in your learning, you can join. This course has been the same price for the 8 years that I've been teaching it. I keep it really reasonable, and it's multiplied 11 or 12 fold. It's, we've got over 100 modules in this course and growing, and you do get updates for free to the course. If you want more free options for learning astrology, go to anniehelpsyou.com. I've got a list of ways I can help you make alchemy in your life. Definitely join my VIP community by signing up for my free email newsletter to get all of the goodies I send there. You can join my secret star portal, which has over a year of archives, including my Jupiter and Taurus through the signs, and Saturn and Pisces, and how to make the most of tough transits. It's a very low subscription rate, and for what you get, it's really extraordinary. So you can check that out at anniehelpsyou.com. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.